How are you? It's Dr. Muso. Today we want to talk about Woodrow Wilson. We want to talk about the so-called the 14 points. The war ended in 1918. So when it ended in 1918, in 1919, we see that European powers, those countries that won the war, they gathered in France, in the walls of mirrors, to redraw the map of Europe, which had been disturbed by the war. The statesmen who met in 1919 included Woodrow Wilson. So he came up with these so-called 14 points, which were going to establish a peace in Europe. So which were these 14 points that Woodrow Wilson drafted, which were supposed to be followed by European states? Number one, we see that there was supposed to be the end of secret diplomacy. End of secret diplomacy. What are we talking about here? We are saying that countries were not supposed to sign secret treaties. The signing of secret treaties, it eventually led Europe to be divided into two dangerous camps, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. That on its own endangered Europe, resulting in the war in 1914. So there was to be abolishment of the signing of secret treaties. Number two, we also talk about freedom of navigation, navigation of the seas. Countries were supposed to have access over the seas. The seas were navigated. They were free for any country. They were free for a trade to be conducted. And by so doing now, it meant that these countries, they were going to be revamped economically. They were affected by the war, and it was now time of revamping of their economy. Then we also talk about the removal of economical barriers. They were supposed to remove economical boundaries, buffer zones, barriers, boundaries. They were supposed to be removed, especially when it came to the issue of trade. There was also the issue of reduction of armaments. So countries were supposed to reduce arms. They were supposed to reduce armaments. Why? It is because the war had to occur. Why? They were producing these weapons in large quantities. Production of armaments led European powers to fight against each other in 1914. And this war, like what we have said, it killed so many people. Then we also talk about the issue of colonial claims. Colonial claims, we are saying that countries were supposed to have people of their origin, people who were speaking the same language, people who had the same culture. So there was the adjustment of colonies depending on the cultures, specific cultures of those inhabitants. Then we also talk about the independence of Belgium. Belgium independence was guaranteed on the Versailles settlement. Belgium was supposed to become an independent state. Not only Belgium, we also see that Austria-Hungary, it was separated. Austria on its own, Hungary on its own. These are what Austria and Hungary, they became two different countries. Separation of Hungary and Austria. Then we also talk about the issue of the redrawing of the Italian frontiers. The borders of Italy, they were redrawn on the 14 points. 14 points that were devised by Woodrow Wilson. Then we also talk about the restoration of French territories, Alsace and Lorraine. It was given back to France. Remember, Germany, when she fought against France, France was defeated and she lost Alsace and Lorraine. And here we are saying that Alsace and Lorraine, it was supposed to be given back to France. Then we talk about the establishment of Poland. Poland was supposed to be an independent state. So Poland, it became an independent state. Then we also talk about German troops. They were supposed to evacuate. They were supposed to move out of Russia. So the troops of Germany, they were evacuated from the Russian territory. German troops, they were removed from the Russian territory. Then we also talk about Romania, Serbia, Montenegro. They were also to be evacuated, and Serbia was given access access to the sea. Serbia was not having access to the sea. And the last point, on the 14 points, you talk about the formation of the League of Nations. The League of Nations, which was supposed to guarantee a peace in Europe. So the last point on the 14 points, it was the formation of the League of Nations. So these are the 14 points that were devised by Woodrow Wilson. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Muso.